Right now, we take our first international trip of the night. We go to the land down under. We go to Australia, where we find our next performer. He is down in Adelaide, South Australia. He is a singer songwriter, and he has played in a Christian rock band in the 80s. Then he went on to play pubs and clubs and was Darwin's wedding singer extraordinaire. After getting a little lost in life, but he had a visit from the man, Jesus Christ. Soon after, he picked up the guitar again and started writing his own songs. Songs for the soul, inspired from dreams and life events. He says it's a little country, a little rock, and a little folky. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Reds Room stage on this Friday night, Saturday for those of you keeping score in Australia. Rod Harrison joining us. Rod, good evening to you. I should say good day, mate. It's Saturday.
Good day. It's
how you doing?
Yes, Saturday lunchtime over here. Hello, USA and anyone else. Hello, Philippines.
Great
Hello,
to
world.
have you with us. What's new for you musically? What you working on these days down there in Australia?
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. Actually, it's honestly about 7 years in the making. Last week, I finally went into the studio and put down 3 of my songs. That's still in the process, so it's not ready to release yet, but it's been a long time. I've got quite a few songs I've written, but I've always had the intent to record them properly, and I started the process last week, so that's exciting. Also, I often play just doing some worship, and sometimes my songs in basically church groups that are looking after the neglected people from the streets, drug addicts and all that. So Wednesday I did a special service for ex-criminals or guys that have been in jail and coming out, guys that have been on programs to get them off drugs, things like that I do. Tomorrow morning I'm doing church in the Remand Centre, which is a jail here in Adelaide City. So yeah, that's the sort of thing that's keeping me quite busy, just doing that. But thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to try out my songs, the songs I've written.
We're looking forward to it. Let's get into our first song, shall we? What's the first one you got to share with us tonight?
Yeah, this is a new one. And funny enough, I got like 40, 50 songs. And when I went to record, I was looking through them, and then the Lord gave me this song, brand new, and I ended up recording this one. It's called Noble Men Cry, and I'll play it to you, and it's a story. You'll know the story. I've actually borrowed from a very well-known story in the Bible, as well as put in a bit of Aboriginal Dreamtime story things in there, and created this sort of collage which comes to a conclusion which we can talk about after I've done the song. I'm sure you'll know the stories, but this is called Noble Men Cry. Check everything's up. You know what? Probably works better when you plug it in, doesn't it?
Quite possibly.
That's better. I find if I leave it in, it drains the battery. So here we go. My heart was in my mouth that day as she handed me her lie. I took that bitter pill and my eyes opened wide, wide, wide. Oh, why? Something broke in my heart that day in the cool of the evening, as I hid under the trees and I saw you walk on by. I saw him walk on by. Goodbye. And all the noblemen cry, and all the noblemen cry, and all the noblemen cry. The only question is why. strong words were spoken, and she climbed up the mountain. She took a seat under the stars, under the stars. Then the stars started dancing, and the stars started shaking, until a baby fell from the sky to the earth below. He fell like a tear, oh dear. And all the noblemen cried, and all the noblemen cried, and all the noblemen cried. The only question is why. He gave up all his permissions, and we read our petitions. And slowly he crawled up that hill, up that hill. And from the mountain she waited and wasted. From there she watched him die. And I watched him die. And all the noblemen cried, 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 and all the noblemen cried. Only noblemen die. Only noblemen die. Only noblemen die. The only question is why. There you go. Anyone there?
Rod Harrison right here. All the noble men cry here on this Friday night edition of Red's Room. Saturday for those who are in Australia. Great stuff there. When you mentioned, you alluded to it at the start of your set there. When you went into the studio to pick out 3 songs that you wanted to record out of the dozens that you have available in your repertoire, how did you end up deciding which ones to settle on? Was it just through prayer, just through sifting through them and just seeing musically what worked? Was there a theme thematically you were going for when doing these? What was the thought process behind selecting some of these songs that we're going to see released here in the near future?
Yeah, there is a process, and it was mainly pragmatic and practical stuff. I'm working with a guy called Joe Cheek at Island Studios, and I play guitar and bass, and I muck around with keyboard sounds, but I'm not a keyboard player. But I wanted to have a band, and my brother plays drums, and it was a matter of, I had the opportunity to go in for 2 days and just start the process with a couple of songs. I thought I'll do 2 songs that are simple, that don't have much drums, and my brother ended up having a day off, and it's like, okay, well, we'll try drums on one day. And it was an experiment to just do a couple of songs and see how the process works with Joe. I've done a lot of work at home on my computer with the songs. So it was a matter of getting the stems. If people are musicians, you know what I mean by the stems of the actual tracks of each instrument on the DAW I use, and take them in and see what we could build up in his studio, because he's got all the fancy gear. So I picked a very basic folk song that I wrote with just me and the guitar and some nice keyboard parts to do, so that'll be easy. And then my brother Brad came in, and he's just such a good drummer, and he ended up doing an extra song, because what would normally take a day, he took 3 hours, had it all set up, and everyone was, even the producer was really impressed with his work. So it was basically pragmatic. It's like, what's some songs I can do without needing to really work in with a whole band and a whole drummer? So yeah, that was what it's about for these songs. We ended up doing more because my brother was. It's given me a lot of confidence knowing that I've done a lot of the work already. So I'll go in the next couple of months and work some more of the complex songs, which have a lot more drumming and all that in it. Because they're folk songs and I'm old school, I like to have the real thing rather than the there's so much you can do on computer, which is great. You
The
can,
real stuff instead of the
yeah.
synth. Yes.
So well, as far as drumming and all that goes, yeah, you
Yeah.
can, with GarageBand, I'm using Logic X. You can put in great sounding drums, and it's right on the beat, and everything's on the grid, and it's like, yeah. And I've done that with all my songs, but I wanted to move it into a real drum and have a little bit more finesse in it so yeah, it's a work in progress. So the song that I just did had just come to me, and Brad just locked straight into it, and it was like, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought. So it ended up being a bit of a, let's see how this thing works with a couple of songs, and now I've a lot more confidence to go in. So yeah, we'll see how it all works out. I'll have something to release. I'm not sure when yet. The songs are still being mixed down. I'll let you know.
We look forward to it in the coming months. Rod Harrison
Yeah.
here with us on this edition of Red's Room. What's song two you got for us here tonight?
Well, I just thought, actually, as we were talking about, I thought I'd do the really simple, basic song that I did. I was initially going to do with Joseph, and we've done. It's just a little finger picking song. This song came up right in the dark days of COVID. So it's not necessarily a happy song. It's for those single folk out there. It's a song of sometimes you get lonely. It's pretty real. It's a song called "Some Days." Some days go so slow. Do I stay or do I go? Will it always be this way? Alone tonight. Some days I don't know. We've forgotten here below. These days of fire and rain keep my soul aflame. Some days I lose myself. Freedom left on the shelf. I try my best to forget. I hold a pillow till I float away to my dreams. She's in my dreams, in my dreams. Till I wake at dawn. Some days I feel low. The heart aches, I know. It won't always be this way. She's not far away. Not far away. There you go. Keep your chin up, guys.
Here on Red's Room tonight, Rosalie Jasinski says, "Nice song for us singles." Yes, indeed. Great, Bianca. Very good song. Great to have everyone with us tonight here on Red's Room. Now, you say your music is a little bit country, a little bit rock, a little bit folksy. Who are some of your musical influences that have helped shape your music and your sound over the years?
Well, I was, when I really started listening to music, as most young teenagers do, it was the 80s, So, and back then it was very different to now. All you young folk there, I don't know where you get your music from, but in Australia and in the US and UK and that sort of that culture that we're from, we were just fed music through the radio and through the television. We didn't have that many stations. It was like you had your pop and rock music through your commercial stations, and you had a couple of shows on TV. So we all got fed the same stuff. So we all sing the same songs, and it wasn't as diverse as it is now. And so you had a flavour, and everyone partook of that. So it was the same, if you're in middle age, I guess, unfortunately, I have to say I'm middle-aged nowadays. What really influenced me, U2 was a massive influence for me. As a young Christian, it was like, wow, these guys are out there doing the big gigs and they know Jesus Christ. That was big. All those classic bands. I was always into more guitar-based stuff, so when you had all this keyboard stuff, kind of like Depeche Mode and all that, it was, wow, interesting, new, but it was a little bit uncool if you're a guitar player. But I look back now and think, I love the 80s music. I really got into Pearl Jam and Nirvana and that whole thing that came out of Seattle. Loved that. I was right into that sort of music.
Right where I am.
Still am. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, still am.
Mike McCready from Pearl Jam still does a bunch of appearances up here.
Yeah. I'm a massive fan of Dave Grohl and Foo Fighters. I think, man, they have managed to do some great music. So yeah, that's my favourite sort of rock. Again, it's all. Yeah, let's throw the computers away and just give me the guitar and a good drummer and we'll be right.
Just rock out old school.
Yeah, and I think as I used to play in pubs and clubs and have to do all the latest music up until about 2010 I was doing that. And so I was doing all the stuff that you hear on radio and stuff because I was getting paid to do it. So I prefer rock, but I think as you get older, the songs I'm writing are a little bit slower, a little bit more contemplative.
Here's a good question before we get into song 3. You were a wedding singer for a number of years. What was either the most popular or favorite song that you always got to drag out?
Well, listen, don't ever tell me to do this song again. Brown Eyed Girl. Everyone always wanted Brown Eyed Girl. Oh, yeah, that song, that was
Van Morrison, Brown Eyed Girl.
Van Morrison, Brown Eyed Girl.
Wow.
Oh, man, going back there, there's quite a few. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was always one. You couldn't get away without singing it. And there's a few Australia's got a very great rock heritage. You would have heard of AC/DC, but we had a lot of other bands that you haven't heard of. One of the famous bands from the 80s, 70s, 80s that have a lot of influence is Cold Chisel, a guy called Jimmy Barnes. And there was a song called Khe Sanh, which was a song reflecting back about the Vietnam War. And great storytelling song, great song, and that was always very popular in Australian circles. So yeah, it was another one I always had to do.
Got another tune for us there, Rod?
Yeah, I've always got a tune. This one's called Diamonds in Your Heart. I think I played this on Red's Run when I did something in my garage with my brother on Red's Room. It's something I'd written about for... I was before COVID a lot, but not so much at the moment, doing concerts down at the Salvation Army in the city, where we do feed programming, feeding people, and I'd sit around and talking to some people which obviously have some major mental issues, and a lot of people who have a lot of drug issues, but Salvation Army is famous for having open doors and feeding these people and making a place for them to hang out. And I wrote this song inspired by this young lady who I was talking to. She was younger than me, but man, she looked older than me. And she had an obvious problem on some pretty heavy drugs. And it's just a horrible, sad story. So I wrote this song with her in mind. No one knows where you've been tonight. You walk the streets to find a light. There's nothing left in your mind. Harry left and he stole your shine. Heaven knows that it's hard. You never thought you'd go this far. You didn't dream that this would be. When as a girl you danced with me, Papa used to smile at you. He told you all that you could do. Heaven knows that's far away. Your memories forgot their way. But there's diamonds in your heart. But there's diamonds in your heart. Heaven knows you've gone too far. Silent screams and clouds of ice. The missing years, the shallow smiles, concrete floors for days on end. A missing child lost, I don't know when. Heaven knows of your betrayal. You were told God looked away. But there's diamonds in your heart. Yes, there's diamonds in your heart. Heaven knows you've gone too far. I see your heart. I see your heart. No one knows where you've been tonight. You walk the streets to find a light. Who would know that this would last? How how long now, all the time that's passed. Heaven knows how far away your memories forgot their way. But there's diamonds in your heart. Yes, there's diamonds in your heart. Heaven knows you've gone too far. I see your heart. I see your heart. Yeah, there's sometimes you just got to keep looking and you see the diamonds. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff there from Rod Harrison. Rosalie says, "What a great song! Cool key changes, love it. Such a deep song. Love it." Liz Perry, good evening to you. Other Liz, she says, "This style of music reminds me of stuff my dad listened to when I was a kid."
That's probably because I'm your dad's age, hey?
Oh, Red says another possibility is you might have done it when you did the live concert at the church with the band as part of the Red's Room that night. You might have performed it then too, I guess.
No, I've only done it the once, I think, with Red. So that was with my brother. He was playing the drums. I sat next to him, yeah.
Rhiannon says, the room you were in looks super cool there, Rod.
It's just a lounge room. It's fairly basic. I live with another two guys, so it's a big in front of me. There's this big TV and a couch, and that's it. That's all a bloke needs.
Very simplistic. There you go. You got one more to close the set out there, Rod?
Yeah. I'll do one more. I've just got to put the capo on and just check the tuning here. This is a song. This is for everyone listening. You know how much he loves you. If only you knew how much I think of you. If only you knew the depths of my heart to you. And the thoughts I have to you. The angels agree, and they sing what I see, and the angels agree. If only you knew how much I see in you. If only you knew the pleasure I see in you. Oh, what I see in you. Oh, and the angels agree, and they see what I see, and the If only you knew what I did for you. If only you knew all that's been done for you. Oh, and I gave my all for you. Oh, 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 oh. And the angels agree, and they sing what I see, and the angels agree. Yeah. Oh, I hold a flame over you. I hold a flame. Thank
Great
you very much, guys. Thanks, Red Room. Thanks, everyone.
Great stuff there from Rod
Bless you
Harris.
guys.
Poppy Pete, good evening to you. Good day, mate. Fellow Australian there joining in. Tanya Townsend loves that particular song there. Yes. Scott Parsons joining in. Good evening to you, my brother. Rosalie Chazinski saying hello in there too. Rhiannon, who we'll hear from coming up next here in just a second. That was a cool guitar run there. Yeah. Good stuff there. Very cool stuff by Rod Harrison. Rod, time to tell us where we can connect up with you to continue following your musical journey, on the socials or web information, where we can find you and your music.
Yeah, last time, I think the first time I came on Red's Room, I saw you, Joe, and I had nothing. I have progressed to putting something on SoundCloud. As I said, I'm recording, and after, I would say in another month I will have it out on all the platforms, doing it properly. But at the moment, if you want to go to SoundCloud and look up Rod Harrison, or Rod Harrison, as you say in the States, R-O-D, Harrison, you will see my stuff up there, just some of my demos. Otherwise, there's nothing really monetized or anything. It's just out there for people to have a look at for the moment. I am working on that, but we're closer than we were last time I was on. So at least I've been in the studio now. And so if you want to go to SoundCloud, there's just some demos up there of a few of my things. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Go check them out on SoundCloud. We look forward to in the next couple of months to hearing some studio recordings of one Rod Harrison. Rod, continued blessings personally and professionally to you. Thank you for joining us here on Red's Room, joining us from Australia. Pleasure to have you here. All the best to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Bless you.